Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing the NBA preseason this year, but we're only going to be talking about my favorite team, the Los Angeles Lakers. So let's go ahead and get right into that. Okay, so first let's go ahead and get right into Dalton Connect. He showed some great flashes this preseason. Great job doing really well in preseason. Did pretty solid in the summer league as well. But this last recent game, he had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steal, a block. It's been looking really, really good for the Lakers preseason team so far. I'm hoping that can carry on into the regular season, where I think that he'll be an efficient scorer off the bench, which is much needed. We need a lot of shooting, which I already know that we're going to need a lot of, because that's something that we had struggles with last year, but we'll get more into that as we keep going. We're going to talk about the fact that he's been really efficient. He went 7 for 13 in that game where he had 16 points. I mean, just that's really well. That's really good for him, and as a rookie, albeit despite being 23 years old, I think that he's doing a fantastic job this year. But one thing I'm really liking really well from him is the fact that he can create for himself right now, which is something that the Lakers struggled tremendously with, because pretty much the offense was let D'Angelo Russell or LeBron James kind of create that offense, which clearly wasn't going to work in the long term. So I'm just glad that it managed to get fixed. But, that's dependent on how the young guys on the team are going to develop under JJ Redick. But I'm hoping and praying that outside of being able to create shots for himself, he's showing a little bit of potential of being able to create shots for others. So here's the hoping that can continue to develop under JJ Redick, and that he can somehow make Dalton Connect into a really pivotal piece for this Lakers organization. So next up, let's go ahead and get into Max Christie, someone who has been on the team for quite some time. Was under a really bad coach in Darvin Ham, who didn't believe in him, didn't give him any opportunities to try and flourish or thrive or develop at all. So he's been kind of our bench player, G League player, who's rarely gotten any playing time or any real opportunities to get real game minutes to maybe even be a potential help to the team. But so far, Max Christie, that's been looking like Darvin Ham made a major mistake by not playing him. But maybe he just developed more and more over the time of not really playing, and now he's just looking really well. But so far, he's showing a lot of comfortability and poise on the court, which is very good, something that we need from our young guys, to show just comfortability, just being on the court, making smart passes, and just trying to insert themselves into the game without the need of LeBron or D'Angelo Russell or Anthony Davis creating shots for anyone. But I mean, he's been very aggressive on both sides of the court, offensively and defensively. Great job trying to get to his shot, get to his spots. Has been looking really well. I'm hoping that this preseason can show that he needs more playing time going into the regular season. So I'm just overall just really loving the confidence that he's playing with. Main thing I just want to see more of is just more of that shooting ability, and just continue playing that aggressive, hard-nosed high effort defense, because that is something that the Lakers truly need. And with a little sprinkle of shot creation for himself and maybe a few times for others, I mean, he could be very, very dangerous for the team. So we got to get into another young guy who, to be honest with you, I didn't really have much faith in him, and that is Jalen Hood-Schifino. Someone who got a lot of flack last season for his play, and not just his play, but also he was kind of injury prone and just dwaddled around in the league last year. In the G League sometimes, on the bench sometimes, really just not really looking like a real NBA player. But this preseason, I mean, he's been doing pretty well. He's showing a lot more confidence in his play compared to last year. But I do believe that the injuries he did have last year kind of affected his play. So I'm just hoping this year he can be a lot more healthy and just be a lot more well-rounded when it comes to his game, outside of just being a guy who can get buckets and just score. So here's hoping that that can change, because so far this preseason this looked pretty well. He had 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists. He also had a steal and a block. He's the most physical type of basketball player I've ever seen him play, which I didn't think would ever be added to his game. But I'm really liking what I'm seeing. That's very good for him. I'm just hoping that he continues to play with that level of intensity outside of the preseason and continues to bring that forward into the regular season and hopefully the preseason or the postseason. Because if he can provide that level of play, and especially that much well-roundedness in that all-around game that he's providing, that could be tremendous for the team. So here's the hoping that that can continue to go on. We got to also get into the game plan as a whole, which is made a massive overhaul. Coach JJ Redick was discussing that he wanted the Lakers to shoot significantly more threes than they've ever shot, which I'm more excited to see that, because that provides more spacing for our superstars in LeBron and Anthony Davis. I mean, last season we finished dead last in attempts. However, we were 8th in percentage, so clearly we could shoot. It's just that we just didn't take enough shots. But then again, there were some guys on the team who also couldn't shoot, but just were occasionally hot on some occasions. I mean, shooting last year at 37.7%, I believe. As a team, that's very good. So I'm hoping this year with the increased volume, although the percentages may dip a little bit, because I don't believe the team is fully capable of just being a team that can just live and die by a bunch of three-point shooting. I just love the effort and the attempt to cause the other team's defense to have to adjust to the fact that we're shooting more threes, and they have to come out and close out on those players so that guys like LeBron and Anthony Davis has more space to attack the basket and create shots for others as more people are collapsing into them. So all in all, I'm just really liking the game plan and the idea of doing that. Is outside of that, with D'Angelo Russell being able to create shots for others and LeBron, I'm hoping with the development of these young players, they'll be able to also create a little bit here and there so that the team looks more cohesive and we're not just depending on superstars to just bail us out of games every single time. But overall, the main thoughts of this is just that we have to use our young players. We have to use our young players as much as possible. We cannot run LeBron and AD into the dirt, because those are the guys that will carry us to the postseason and maybe a potential championship, even though it's looking very likely the Celtics are going to repeat again. But again, we never know. Injuries can happen. A million different things can happen. So we never know how the season goes. But we just have to stick out this game plan of shooting as much as possible to space the floor. Clearly the Celtics showed that off, and the Warriors showed that off over the course of since 2015, a very long time, that three-point shooting is the most viable option in this current game of basketball. And without it, the spacing has been awful. And the main thing in basketball is spacing. Without it, your offense is pretty much screwed. So I'm just praying that the game plan stays at that and that nothing else can affect it. Another thing I would love to see this year is LeBron and Anthony Davis maybe taking some rest games here and there. Not too many, because last year they had did a great job of being on the floor and being available as much as possible, especially Anthony Davis. Great job playing that many games, over 70 games on the season, which is very good. I'm hoping that can continue this year, but I wouldn't mind him maybe sitting out those occasional games that we can just guarantee that these other teams are rebuilding and that maybe we can use the young guys to stay in and develop as much as possible. But all in all, those are my thoughts on the Lakers so far in the preseason. Thank you guys for listening, and share your thoughts in the comments. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.